we're here live with the Twin Peaks show. Inside the Red Room, missing is Migdalia because she's an AX, because she's a loser and a jabroni and a mutton head.
Hello!
That's right, guys. We are here. We're talking about last week's episode because it was so mind-blowing.
It took us time. It took us 2 weeks to go over everything.
It actually
break
did.
It down for you guys.
It may have done us a benefit, mainly because, no Joe tonight. Actually, I'm right here, Ryan. Steele, Thomas. He might be there. I'm here, guys. Why do people think I'm not? Why do people think I'm?
I don't know. Unless I think you're talking right now.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm
the
definitely
picture
here.
of him on the thing.
No, there's no picture of us yet.
Oh no,
there might be. I don't know. But I'm here. Yes, Migdalia is at AX. We're going to be talking about Twin Peaks episode 8. And the title of the episode is called "Got a Light."
Oh yeah, that was the line that now is going to be the basis of many of my nightmares. So yeah, thanks.
We're drinking some fine Haitian.
Oh yeah, Haitian
what is
rum.
this? Rum.
Haitian rum and Coke.
Rum and Coke. Enjoying the holiday weekend. I hope you guys are enjoying the holiday weekend as well. Thank you for joining us on Inside the Red Room. This is not Power Rangers. This is not video games. This is not anime.
No.
This is Twin Peaks. So prepare to have your mind blown because this episode was crazy.
Oh man. It was pure like Lynchian heroin. Like
first of all, I got to shout out some of our fans in the chat. We got Kat, who is a week-long graduate now.
Yes.
We also got Ryan, Star, Super, Steel, Thomas. He's in there as well.
We got like other people in there, but you guys aren't saying anything. I'm like 6 people watching. Come on, say something.
We love interacting with you guys. We love talking to you guys.
9, 10, 12.
You guys
a lot
are
of you guys.
Awesome. One thing we do want to talk about, though, is for those of you that don't watch Twin Peaks, we recommend...
Oh, my God.
Hello. What happened? Hello. I don't know what that was all about. But for those of you that don't watch Twin Peaks, it's an amazing show. I recommend watching the series and the movie. If you watch the movie, you're going to get a lot more from the show.
Yeah.
This episode was mind-blowing, and we're prepping for next week's episode 9 when Twin Peaks returns, and we will return with it.
Yes.
I actually don't know if I'm actually here next week, but we'll see.
Yeah, well.
But Daniel, break it down for us.
Well, this episode was a lot. It was definitely a lot to take apart. We took 2 weeks, as we said, to even really get into it and make sure we saw things that maybe you didn't see when you first watched it. How'd the episode start off? I forgot. It was with...
Ray
Cooper.
driving with Cooper.
Okay,
Cooper.
So right off the bat, Ray's driving with Cooper, and they're headed towards somewhere in the middle of the U.S. I don't know if it was.
They're headed towards the farm.
Right. Okay.
Ray's farm. That's where they need to take Ray to, or that's where they want to. That's where he wants to go because the warden gave him a car.
That's right.
And a gun.
Oh boy.
And so now they're headed to the farm.
But when they're headed there, so Ray says something to Cooper in a way.
Says he has to take a leak.
True. He did. The farm, headed over to the farm, the whole thing with me, Ray was like, so you're going to go live on the farm? He asked him that, and just, for me, it was really interesting because Cooper was playing it in a way where it was like, it was ominous, but Cooper, you could feel the tension within the car, where it was kind of like, oh, Cooper's going to kill Ray. You could see it. Cooper's going to kill Ray.
Well, he did say he had some secrets that he was like, because Ray was saying, I got the numbers memorized, and he's like, Ray, I need that information. And Ray wanted to go and take a leak. He got out of the car, and he kind of set Cooper up. Cooper, we should say, the fake Cooper.
Yeah.
Set him up, shot him, and pretty much got the drop on. Got the drop on Agent Booper.
But so
Dr.
the question
Booper,
is...
or no, Mr. Booper.
Is Ray a spy, or does he work for the FBI?
No, Ray is obviously following orders from Philip Jeffries.
Yeah.
Because he calls Jeffries. I think that Ray is almost working in conjunction with Jeffries. Mm-hmm. So Jeffries... Because Jeffries was played by the late, great David Bowie.
Yes.
Did you know that we pronounce David Bowie wrong? In England,
really?
They pronounce it David Bowie.
Well, see, yeah.
And the thing is, he pronounced it, but he also pronounced it David Bowie. He just never corrected.
That's right. I remember there was an interview where someone... That's right.
Fun fact about David Bowie. And his music was phenomenal, by the way. Under Pressure.
On, man.
Even Vanilla Ice told it.
Yeah, well, hey.
Vanilla Ice is also in this season, coming up on episode 10.
What?
Yeah.
Don't lie to me. I was like, no.
So that's what happened.
But so when he does that, and he automatically Booper was ready, like, okay, I'm gonna shoot you, and he says, pull the fast one on there, see, and then boom, he shoots Coop. Coop drops, and that is where shit gets wild.
Also, I kind of want to apologize to you guys out there because this show wasn't really promoted, so I know that you guys are asking for everybody to come join us. The holiday weekend, so we understand, but we will do a better job at letting you guys know when we're going to go live before we actually go live. So that way you know where to find us each and every week. We also have that super chat feature, which helps support the show. And also, we give it back to you guys, the fans. And we're going to make everything great again.
Well, speaking about making things great again, what was great for me was to see the Woodsman show up, and that whole sequence of almost like bringing Coop back to life, that was freaky.
You had mentioned that it reminded you of Space Odyssey?
Dude, it really did.
The Stanley Kubrick film?
Where it's like all the apes around the obelisk, just kind of like, jumping around. It was that way. It was very primal. They're dancing around. But, okay, Ray was very accepting of everything that he saw, because when he gets on the phone, he says, it looked like he had some help. That's all? Well, that's all you're gonna say?
It also could be because maybe Ray, maybe Jeffries has told Ray more about what's going on than we probably know that he knows.
Well, we knew that Jeffries, we know that Jeffries does know a lot more.
Well, Jeffries knows a ton, but I'm just saying maybe he filled Ray in on that.
Yeah, true. No, but I mean, he knows more than even some people at the FBI, at the office know.
No, he clearly knows more.
The supernatural connection and thing. Yeah, exactly. The whole supernatural connection. But with that, it was like, so Ray just tells him, it looks like he had some help. But the Woodsmen come out and they start almost resuscitating him, and at that moment they almost pretty much pull out the embryo of Bob for a moment.
I don't know. I don't necessarily know if that was the embryo of Bob.
Well, you see Bob's face inside of this little kind of cocoon thing that later we see when
the question is, did they pull out the evil of Bob?
Well, they only pulled it out to put it back in. It was really just to display it.
But is that the evil of Bob that they?
I think so.
Back in.
I think so. I think that's exactly what it is. Because skipping around, later we see that kind of grayish creature after the explosion, after the nuclear testing in 1945.
Yes.
We see that creature on the other side, if we can say it that
way. But 1945, this is all very significant. Number one, hi Migdalia, you're supposed to be here, but you're enjoying Anime Expo.
Yeah.
Doing absolutely
nothing.
Yeah. Actually, she's doing a lot. Anyway, Bob, here's my theory about this.
Okay.
The reason, so we first see that big mushroom cloud, that testing site in New Mexico. Also, that is also in that picture is also in the office of Miguel Ferrara's character.
Yes, that's right.
So there's a tie there. My theory here, and I think this may be going around a little bit, is that this is the first time man was testing with evil, and it crossed over with the Black Lodge dimension. And this is where we start getting our, we start seeing the essence of evil, the evil of man, and it starts festering and festering, and that's what Bob is. He's the evil of man.
And just to touch on that, to go a little bit more, because I started watching, I'm breaking it down, because I luckily got to rewatch it pretty quick before we got to go on the air. And what I saw was essentially the nuclear bomb pretty much ruptures a hole in space and time and everything like that. And through that, it lets it connects us to the dark world, the other side, the red room. And with that happening, now that hole is kind of like a fracture in just reality itself. They're able to peer in, and through that, they were able to allow, evil, because the explosion itself, it pretty much represented evil, because it's the banality of evil, man itself, what we're willing to do to each other. And that itself is just the nature of evil. Because, hey, we have no problem killing 45,000 people with a bomb. Like, hey, we made that war so much more than it was and ended everything just by doing that. It let everyone know, okay, well now we see what America will do. And with that, we see the evil in man. But with that happening, it opens up, and like you said, we get to touch with evil.
So we see a lot of flashes. We see specs, things happening.
Mm-hmm.
The big scene here is we get to what seems to be the convenience store, an old gas station, and we see people like this. So I think that David Lynch really enjoys this kind of, and I notice he's been using it a lot this season. Is this imagery of like photo. Non-linear storytelling, and
yes.
I mean photographic linear storytelling.
Right.
He puts a photo and then quickly removes that scene and puts another photo and just making it jump.
Yeah.
Fun fact about this is if you look closely, you can see the corns of can that they used in Fire Walk with Me.
Yes.
The movie.
That's right. The funny, interesting part about the convenience store, probably people won't remember it, but back in season 1, there was a moment where I think it was the arm or the one-arm man said something to the extent of, we used to live above what you call the convenience store. And it's just like, oh, okay, it's aptly named the convenience store, and then what do we see in this scene? Convenience store. And he did say we lived in that, 1945 is when we lived in it. And now we're seeing that come to fruition, and there's a convenience store right there.
Well, also, interestingly enough, when you watch Fire Walk with Me, the film, Jeffrey's character, Philip Jeffries, David Bowie's character, comes back from, I believe, 1987.
Yeah,
and,
oh God.
From Miami or whatever, and he's in the office of David Lynch's character's office at the FBI, and he talks about Cooper, and he says, "Do you know who this man is?" And they're like, "What are you talking about?" And then he says, he talks about, "I had a meeting with them at the convenience store."
Man,
there you go.
It's like, so things coming full circle, and the Lynch has no problem playing with fans in that way. Like, pretty much, Lynch started the whole thing of fans having to want to rewatch a show and see it over and speculate and put it all together.
Well, for those of you that don't know, Twin Peaks was the first binge-watchy show ever.
Yeah.
It was also one of the first shows where they had viewing parties. So I remember this I don't remember the phenomenon because I was so young, but I remember the phenomenon with Lost. Mm-hmm. And this was very similar to that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people now do it nowadays for a lot of different shows. We get, well, Netflix has kind of changed the game with, but viewing parties are still kind of things. Maybe not so much, but they do them for certain things. But Lost was the last show that I remember big viewing parties for.
Yeah.
I would never watch it with my friends though because I didn't want to get.
Yeah.
Wait, which Lost character would you have been? Which Lost character would each hashtag member have been?
Well, pretty much since I do have a kid and all that, I definitely would be Michael, man. Whoa, all the time.
Who would Migdalia be? I think I know who Migdalia would be. Actually, let's not go to her next.
Okay.
Who do you think Kelly would be? I think Kelly would be Claire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Squirrel baby and all?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Because Claire was the nice one and like super sweet, like when she started.
My baby.
If she had a baby. Who do you think Maverick? I think I know Maverick would be easy.
Oh, you don't think she would be what's her name? The
Kate?
one that's
Yeah, Maverick is easily Kate.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, maybe Kelly would be Sun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't know. That one's tough, actually.
I don't think she'd be Sun.
You think she'd be Claire?
Yeah, because yeah, I could see that.
What about Matt? Matt's new. You know who Ernie would be? Charlie.
Yes, I can see him right. It's not Penny's boat.
Yes, he would definitely be Charlie.
I can see that. Well then, no, big question automatically. You're here. Who would you be?
Jack.
Because Jack or Sawyer?
I think I'd be Jack. The rest of you guys might think I'd be Sawyer.
I don't know.
But with Ro back now, I think he would be Sawyer.
Oh, Ro would be definitely Sawyer.
And I'd be Jack.
Okay, then that leaves you to be Jack. That's true.
Anyway, for those of you out there that don't know what we're talking about, watch Lost. Who would be who? John Locke? On our current cast?
Yes.
Oh, boy. I don't know.
You may not have one.
I don't think we do, actually.
You may not, because I can't say Brian, I can't say DJ, even though he's not, but yeah, I can't say either of those two. Man.
Anyways, they're talking about Twin Peaks. Kat and Migdalia are trying to ask, what do you watch first? Personally, I disagree with Migdalia. Watch the show first.
Yeah.
And then watch the movie. And the reason I say that is because the movie has tons of spoilers in it, and you're going to know what happens throughout the whole show.
Even though the movie is a prequel, right? No.
The movie is a prequel.
It is a prequel, but the thing is, you'll understand all the hints that they're giving you. It makes
the show more anticlimactic because the whole premise of the show is who killed Laura Palmer.
Exactly.
If you watch the movie, you clearly know right away.
Already, yeah.
So, and that's the whole mystique of the show. Now, the show does a great job of the world building.
Yeah.
But the movie does a great job of letting you know what the stakes are. But this current show we are in right now with Twin Peaks: The Return on Showtime, airing at 8 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, depending on when the time is.
Yeah.
It's doing a great job of honestly, it's David Lynch without any restrictions.
Yeah, there's so many references. There's questions being answered and more questions being created, and I love it.
Anyway, let's pick back up where we were. We talked about Jeffries and the convenience stores. So we get to see that. Then we get to 1956.
Yes.
1956, small town America, back in New Mexico. We see a young man and a young woman walking. It's very cute, very romantic
cute.
from what we see in the 50s.
It's so Americana.
So, Daniel, what are your theories on this?
Okay.
So there's two theories that are going around right now.
Yeah.
One I just made up not too long ago, but the other one is an actual theory that's going around.
That kind of helped.
What that theory? Yeah.
The two theories right now is that the two people walking may actually be the Palmers.
The first theory going around is that a lot of people think that the young man is Bob.
Oh, really? Okay, well then that's one theory that people think the young man is Bob. I want to debunk that.
And then that the bug crawls into the girl that corrupts Bob, and that's Bob.
Exactly, and that's why I think that, because with everything that happened, there was we literally had a scene which was like the creation of Bob, where that thing, which a lot of people are dubbing the name Mother, which was dropped in season 1 a long time ago in correlation with Bob, that weird thing, gray thing without a face, that's clearly feminine because it has like breasts, or at least the body shape of. It's spewing out all this essentially evil, and out of all the evil spitting out, it spits out a little orb that, and this is important later, a little orb with Bob's face in it. And that is essentially Bob. We see that spew out, and then later we see the egg, and it cracks open, and this weird kind of frog reptilian thing with wings comes out, makes its way all the way across the desert, and goes into this woman's mouth. Now
you skipped like 90% of the episode.
Well, I'm going because I'm talking about that because I have to point out who those two people are. The reason I think that happened that way is because I think that woman, there's a theory that she may indeed be Sarah Palmer. Because Sarah Palmer had the visions and all that stuff, etc., etc. Bob pretty much, and with it, there's kind of like a type of shadow. It's like almost like, oh man, there's so much, because the burned woodsman, or whatever you want to call him, that goes and says that thing that lulls everyone to sleep. The reason he does it, he's like a harbinger for Bob. Essentially, he's like the angel Gabriel, if you will. He comes in and...
Hey, Ryan wants you to check your Instagram. Don't do it right now.
I'm not doing that right now. I'm sorry, man. Not during when I'm on
Unless
the
you super chat him.
Yeah, if you super chat, then I'll do it. But I'm not going to do it while I'm on the air. I'm sorry. Pretty much that woman, that woodsman that says, like, got a light, is like Angel Gabriel announcing, hey, you're going to be impregnated, blah, blah, yada, yada,
That's
yada.
what you think?
In a way, it's typing shadows. I'm just saying to give it a better, easy way to do it. So he does that, lulls her to sleep. Then after that, here comes, I guess if you want to say, the godlike creature of Bob comes in, impregnates her, and now all of a sudden she has Bob within her.
Are you saying
this
is a
Palmer's dad?
Well, are you saying that this could possibly be a? How do I say this sensitively? Like
the birth, it's types and shadows.
No. It's a spin on, because the big thing about Laura Palmer was that she was raped by Bob, and this is kind of you falling asleep. This is kind of like
essentially the
Essentially
same
the same thing.
Yes.
Not the same exact thing.
But in that
playing
way.
with that theory.
Well, the impregnating is something that's done not willingly.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because impregnating was another theory that Audrey Horne was impregnated by the evil Cooper, and that Richard Horne is actually the spawn of them. So maybe this is all tying together. Now that we're actually talking about this, it could all be tying together. Another theory going around. So pretty much what you're saying, which was our theory, was that Bob could be that. I mean, sorry, that young.
Palmer.
The
father.
Leland Palmer.
Yeah, there you go.
Leland Palmer was that young man.
Yeah, young Leland is the man. Because remember, he does say, there are moments, we talked about this earlier, where he says, I used to see that man, meaning Bob.
In the summers.
In
his house.
And you said, well, then possibly it could have been just him seeing him pretty much through Sarah Palmer.
Because Laura Palmer would sometimes see the man there, That's right. Wouldn't see her father.
See, but then, but then that even goes farther into it, because the thing is, later we see the giant in the room, and the giant rise after watching the pretty much the birth of Bob, or the introduction of Bob into our world. He sees that, and to counteract that, he goes ahead and does the whole Sarah Palmer thing, where he rises up, and out of his mind comes the light of creation, if you want to, in that way.
Let's see this for a second. Number one Easter egg there was. Well, also, speaking of the young couple, a lot of people are speculating that the young man was Bob. That was the infestation of Bob. I agree. I don't think that's it, too. I don't think that's it either. But
I think it's Leland.
When we see the giant, this is really interesting. So a lot of people, I'm a David Lynch fan. You know this.
Yeah.
I'm a huge David Lynch fan. A lot of people don't realize that that the theater that we saw was actually the theater that's in Mulholland Drive when they're in Silencio.
Yeah.
And the giant there sees the past, present, future. He sees it all. And in the beginning, I believe he says 460. He says Richard and what's the other name he says? Richard and another woman's name. He says two birds with one stone. Now, Richard could be Richard Horne, which is possibly the son of Evil Cooper and Audrey. There's also the giant, so that's where we're talking about. He manifests. He sees the bomb go off.
And he sees pretty much the proverbial birth of Bob into our world. Because that's where it literally, on the screen, it stops and it pauses so you can see the orb that has Bob. Later, he manifests an orb with Sarah Palmer in it.
David Chapman, welcome to the room. It seems like you are a Twin Peaks fan.
Yes.
Matthew Lillard's Lodge Spirit, nope the fuck out when it realized it couldn't do anything, anything more possessing him.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Well, that was the Woodsman.
Yeah, that was the Woodsman. I call him the Burnt Woodsman, but yeah, the Woodsman, because there's so many of them. But anyway, my thing is, what I'm thinking is, then we see that orb that has Sarah Palmer in it, and that lady kind of essentially like kisses it, giving it like well-wishing. All right, go on.
But I think that orb she's seeing is the future, obviously.
Well, that's the thing. Because remember, like you said, they stand outside of time. They're at a precipice outside of time. They don't exist inside of time.
That we think.
Well, that's what I actually think, because he's able to see what's happening somewhere where he isn't, and then after that, later, it goes to that tube and shoots its way into Earth, and it's Laura Palmer, which gives a hint that Laura Palmer herself is rather supernatural. And it would make sense because she would be a kind of supernatural weapon that was supposed to oppose Bob. Remember, she couldn't be possessed by Bob. She was able to fight that.
She was able to fight it off. Exactly. That's why she would always say, my hands were tied back, and she was able to fight it off in the Red Room.
And then ultimately, she sacrificed herself and rather die than be possessed by Bob, which Bob needed and wanted to bad.
Or maybe Laura's essence is stuck in the Red Room. Because if you think about it,
it is.
Well, it has to be.
Yeah.
After she died, she got stuck there because she's there in all the Cooper's visions throughout Twin Peaks and even throughout this show. So maybe she's stuck there.
Well, that's what I definitely think so. I think, like I said, I feel that she is supernatural in a way. So it's like even before her birth, she was slated.
Do you think Heather Graham's character, who is Annie, you think she's also stuck there? Because she's in the movie with a bloody nose in Laura Palmer's bed saying the evil Cooper is still inside.
Yeah, that's right.
So is she stuck there as well?
Shit, she could be. But I don't think she's coming back for the show. So, I don't know. But she could be.
You know, so interesting thing now, David Chapman says in the chat, Woodsman, just more possessing spirits, my dude. They are like Bob, we know, but Bob is clean, and that damn engine oil, he's a strong spirit. Now, here's an interesting thing about. If we can jump to the Woodsman for a second. Interesting thing about them is that Mark Frost is a historian.
Yes.
And he wrote a book called Secret History.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
What am I going to say then?
No. Go ahead.
Tell me what I'm going to say.
I love the book.
Now go.
You go ahead.
Come on.
I don't know what you're going to say.
So if you actually look closely, the woodsman who says "got a light," if you look at him closely, he looks like Abraham Lincoln. That's not by mistake.
Really?
Yes. So Abraham Lincoln, you think about throughout history and throughout evil and throughout politics, Abraham Lincoln looks like that woodsman. And Abraham Lincoln was a woodsman.
Yeah.
And if you look at the other one that comes out towards the car, that looks like Karl Marx. So
oh shit!
If you start putting this all together, this is Mark Frost's influence and David Lynch. Like it's really getting that. It shows that.
What's the point? Why are
the
they?
Point. I personally think the point is A, because he's a historian, but B, politics are just as like it's one of the dirty. This is the reason why we got the bomb, right? 1945. Right. It's messy. This is evil. This is the evil of man. Even though these great figures are, well, Karl Marx, I don't know, but like Abraham Lincoln, these great figures that we hold historically were great figures. There's evil in man, and that's the evil side of the manifestation of what man can be. Damn. That's my theory. So Mark Frost, I think, is putting his touch on this a little bit. But back to the thing, also, the internet. The internet, I got to give you guys credit out there on the internet, because they're the ones that actually broke that poem.
Okay, so the poem. This is the water, and this is the white. This is the water, and this is the well. Drink full and descend. The horse is the white of the eyes and the dark within. Now, with that and the breaking of the poem that everyone's going online, my one part that I'm looking at is the horse portion.
Okay.
Because remember, Sarah Palmer had the vision of the white horse. And that was right before Laura and the friend were murdered. The white horse.
Ronette?
In my opinion, the horse represented the pale horse of the apocalypse, Revelation kind of thing. Okay. And it was the horse, which represents a sign of death. Right? I see, and then after that, boom, later her daughter dies. And just putting that all together, it's just a reference back to it. And it's something that he does as almost a cooling spell. He says it, everyone that hears it falls asleep, and then all of a sudden, the woman that I believe is Sarah Palmer knocked out and boom, becomes the pregnant.
So you think that's Sarah Palmer?
I do. I think it's all set up that way, and it was just all lined up.
Interesting.
It's Sarah Palmer. She's the closest thing that can get to.
I don't think that's exactly Sarah Palmer.
Okay.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, right.
I don't think so. I think that I'm not even sure if that young man. I think the young man is Leland Palmer.
Okay.
But I think that may have been a girl he knew, and the spirit jumped into him from a young age.
Okay, so then that would make sense. Maybe it's not Sarah. Then
listen. It could be.
Okay, because we know that ultimately Leland's possessed by Bob, so that would work out well. As far as
Judy is her name. Judy is her name. David Chapman. Yeah, her name is Judy.
Okay, yeah, looking at the thing. Okay, Judy, what?
Judy. Her name's Judy. I believe that they even use that in the episode. Like, Judy, if I can...
Oh, okay. All right, so it's not Sarah then.
There's no way it could be Sarah Palmer. Also, Kat says. So,
okay. Really, according to the time span, I mean, it would make sense.
The age would make sense, not necessarily
But it's not. But if it's Judy, then there you go.
But let's take this back a little bit and realize a couple of things that we may have overlooked.
Yeah,
let's say.
We gleamed.
So, watching Twin Peaks, you're getting a lot of information very quickly. Not very quickly, but you're getting a lot of information that you have to process. Episode 8 was one of those things. This is probably the most surrealistic hour of television that I've ever seen in my life. And I love it because I'm a huge fan of surrealism.
Man.
But watching David Lynch do his thing is brilliant. I think now let's talk about the bug that crawls into Judy's mouth at the end of the show.
Okay.
Now the strong rumor right now is that's Bob. Mm-hmm. That little orb is manifested. That was not necessarily an orb; it was an egg.
Yes.
That was laid, and that hatched out to be Bob, and Bob crawled into the mouth of young Judy.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I agree. Actually, I think that's something that I saw, and I felt it was the same exact way. Mm-hmm. It was just, it wasn't an orb, but I just said it was an orb because later we see the orb of Sarah Palmer. So it was like, okay, that's a good orb, there's a dark orb. Just the two, between the two. But that's what I saw. And I think, indeed, that was it. It hatched open, it goes inside of Judy's mouth, and then later, that's the birth of Bob. Remember, everyone says it, Bob is a parasite. I mean, think about it. That thing goes in and lives inside of you. That's a parasite.
Well, Bob has always been a parasite, though.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. So Bob has existed even before, but now because of the explosion, there's a rupture in space and time, and now they're able to come in. So Boomy comes in, and that's exactly what happened.
So I couldn't agree more with David Chapman, who says that it was very surreal, but it was very straightforward. Mm-hmm. Also, shout out to Art Munez, who gives us a heart. Thank you very much. And Kat says she likes surrealism, but learning it is boring. We're going to make surrealism fun here on this show.
Exactly.
Or at least we're going to try our best.
Yeah.
I love surrealism, but David Lynch... So David Lynch is very much into transcendental meditation. So the way he describes it is like this, that transcendental meditation is, there's a layer here, and that's the water.
Exactly.
You have to go deeper into to grab the great ideas and pull them out like fishing. Deep sea fishing is what he kind of describes it as.
Yep.
Now, I think personally that what we're seeing here is obviously the origin of the Black Lodge. I wouldn't say so much the origin of Bob, because that's still yet to be explored. But we're seeing the origin of the Black Lodge. So when we see these people, the woodsmen attack the town, I think we're more so seeing the manifestation of the outfall. Because characters that we're not seeing yet are the Arm.
Yep.
We're not seeing the Giant.
Yep.
And I think those might be almost like the Watchers of the
that
Black
makes
Lodge.
sense. That makes
David
sense.
Chapman, my dudes, I was speculating saying it was Judy. Judy was the name David Bowie kept saying over and over. Oh, it could be Judy, yes. It could be Judy, because he was
Saying
like, do you know about Judy? I remember in the movie.
Shit.
You don't. He's like, you don't say that name.
Yeah, right?
That could be Judy.
Fuck. David Chapman, you were on it, man. Damn.
But Jeffries is a character. See, David Lynch wanted to bring David Bowie back for Jeffries.
Yes, he
but
definitely
unfortunately
did.
he passed away.
See, but I don't know. I wonder if they did shoot anything.
I don't think so. I think they're going to recast him.
Okay.
Or
because remember when he went away, there was a lot of speculation about plastic surgery that he was going to take because he had to go undercover again. That was the thing, right?
Well, I also see
When
David Lynch is also playing with new media, new technology. For example,
seeing Bob. I mean,
the
Bob's
actor,
dead.
Bob is dead. The actor that portrayed Bob did pass away. Also, the actor that portrayed the Major Briggs has also passed away.
And we see his
face,
for him
and he's
saying
like,
that, that is ridiculous because.
By the way, if you watch the original Twin Peaks, it's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, but having him being able to say that, like that's not television film budget. That's like.
Well, I don't know necessarily. I don't know if that was actually him saying it. But that was his face for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And to do that, like that's heavy on budget. But you can understand because, well, some of the things they do on the show, you're like, oh, the budget is really low for what you're doing. This is art house stuff that you've been able to do almost not in camera, but you're able to do really quick in post. Like the whole thing with the woodsman dancing around while you're like. This is kind of.
But that's where that's funny you said that because
blows the money on other.
So
things.
let's just talk about that for a second. I know we're jumping around the episode because we pretty much covered it, but we're just really dissecting it now.
Yeah.
David Lynch's motif here, and I know exactly what you're talking about. His motif is for driving scenes, Mulholland Drive, Twin Peaks. Driving scenes are meant to build tension.
Oh yeah.
And that's what he does between Ray and Booper, or Mr. Cooper.
He even does it with the couple that happened to run into the woodsman.
It's all about the pacing.
I loved, and this is something you said once before, but it was like you'll never really get a scene until it hits you in a way where you're like Like it kind of jostles you. That scene where the woman is sitting there, the wife is pretty much wailing and yelling in the background when the woodsmen come up.
Oh, yeah.
I would suggest from now on, if you watch Twin Peaks, watch it with the closed captioning. Because what it says versus what's actually happening sometimes. Like it says, disjointed wailing. And you're like, disjointed. And then when you hear her do it, where it's like that weird noise, it's coming out of her. It's a literal like crying, wailing, gnashing of teeth kind of thing. And you're like, okay, giving it an actual name or saying it, describing it that way, when you see it, it takes a different kind of meaning, and it just makes so much more sense. Like the music that was playing during the nuclear explosion, and we're seeing the difference between the inside the cloud of the explosion and then also inside of the cosmos. We're seeing two at that moment. It literally in the closed caption does say it, where you're seeing the inside of the cloud, inside of the cosmos, and that's when you realize, oh, cosmos, that's somewhere else we're seeing instead of. It was like, damn, dude.
Also, did you know that there's an Easter egg in the Avengers, a Twin Peaks Easter egg in Avengers?
No.
Yeah.
What?
When Hulk lands in that thing and he's like, "Son, you have a condition," the noise that's made in the background is that that's taken from a David Lynch film.
Really?
Yeah, because that character is in Fire and Walk with Me, and obviously he's in this show now. It's one of David Lynch's longtime working partners.
No way.
That was an homage. That small piece was an homage to David Lynch.
Oh my god.
So fun fact there. But I think that with this episode, it opens the door for so much. And I love the fact that Twin Peaks this season made us wait a week. Because I think that was brilliant. Make us think about that episode.
Because there was so much in this
I watched
episode.
it 3 times.
Yes.
And I was like, man, like this is why I love this show.
I was watching it, I'm writing down theories, and then after I did that, I had to watch it again and confirm or deny some of the theories, because I had a whole lot of crazy ones.
Who is the woman with the giant?
That's the thing. I don't know.
I don't know either.
See, and that's the thing where it's like, if you want to do it this way, because I thought about it and I wrote it down, but then I threw it away. It was like the whole type and shadow thing. If there's evil, then there's good, right? Let's say the giant.
The giant seems
good.
Watcher.
Yeah, the giant is a watcher, etc., etc. And then the orb comes out, and then all the woman does is kiss the orb of Sarah Palmer, kind of giving her a blessing or a benediction.
I mean, there's a few
and
characters,
then sends it off.
There's a few characters in that convenience store that we haven't seen yet.
That's true.
One is the grandmother with the grandson.
Oh, God.
One is the guy with the mask on with the flat top.
Yep.
There's a few others. We've seen the arm. We've seen Bob. We've seen the giant. But there's a few others we haven't seen quite yet.
Yeah,
now, the Woodsmen obviously are new to us.
Definitely.
So,
but we already know exactly who they are. Like, immediately. They're
also the one, and it's something else we hadn't touched on yet. They're also the ones that crushed.
The people's heads inside of yeah.
So that goes back to episode 1.
As far as what, the dudes in New York?
Yeah.
Well, see, in New York, what we saw was, as I call her, Mother, or the gray woman that had no face. She was the one that appeared in the box. That thing that spit out Coop, that's what appeared in the box, and then came out and
I think
eviscerated
but
those
the way
people.
that the head looked after it, that looked like the Woodsman's doing.
Oh yeah,
like it looked like the same way.
I don't know.
Also, fun fact about this episode that I read about. So the song that was played was called "My Prayer" by the Platters.
Yeah.
In the 1950s. A member of that group, his name, David Lynch.
Bullshit. Really?
Yeah. That's true
But
story.
was it really Lynch?
No, it wasn't David Lynch.
Okay,
it was
but
just
the
a guy
named
David Lynch. Yes.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that is crazy.
We have seen that theater before. That was in Mulholland Drive.
That's
and
right.
Fun fact about Mulholland Drive: it was originally going to be a TV show. ABC said no, so they made it a movie. A lot of people said that was actually the spinoff to Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks, yeah.
But I don't think that could be the case now, mainly because Naomi Watts in Mulholland Drive's character is a lot different than the Naomi Watts we're seeing that's Dougie's wife.
That's right.
So I don't think that's it.
But the
Mother was in Secret History. David
See,
Chapman.
I told you.
Mother was
that's
in Secret
I
History.
remember reading the whole thing about Mother. That's why I was like, okay, see, And yeah, Mother is the one.
It's not David Lynch. That's a Mark Frost thing.
Yeah,
yes.
But no, Mother was the one that did. They said it was in correlation or connection to Bob, meaning she was the origin of Bob.
You know what I do?
Saw it, which they did say. I remember back. It may have been Firewall with me. Bob, the origin of Bob or something. Bob is a parasite. You'll never get the real origin or history of Bob.
We do. I actually don't. We don't.
We just kind of did.
You know, I like the fact right now that David Chapman here is a Lynch fan and he's following along. I love the fact that we're watching Twin Peaks. Like, this is great.
Oh man, it's great to see. It is.
Any fan theories you want to bring up?
No, I tried to drop as many as possible already. I don't know. Is there one that you've heard or one that you're like?
Well, I mean, the one that I heard was that one that we kind of talked about with the parasite being, or I'm sorry, the young man being Bob.
Right.
That was the only one I really was reminded of. I don't really know any other ones. But one thing we can do is read the comments from last week.
Ooh.
So
you guys really went in on those.
Laura Del Vasto says, "Hey guys, my first time seeing a video of yours and I loved it. I loved your enthusiasm. Also, I think the car Andy was inquiring about the man that is the car Richard Horn was driving when he ran out with the little boy last week's episode. I agree with that.
Oh.
Why don't you read the next one?"
It's a good eye. Nice 49ers hat, boys.
Yeah, that's from Yellow Flash 0004. Thank you very much.
Bravo, nice Chicago hat today.
Chicago. I'm a Chicago Bulls fan.
Nice.
Kodaman says, guys, the dog legs were literal. It was one of the items the police found in Evil Cooper's car.
Yeah, we thought. Yeah, we were saying it was like more like a metaphor. We were wrong. You're right. Because I had to rewatch the episode after, and I was like, ah.
And AJ says part 8. Part 8's right here, right now.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to do it for us here on The Red Room.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Black Lodge, as I think our new show is going to be called. I also want to thank all of you, each and every one of you, for watching Twin Peaks with us this week.
Definitely.
But that's going to do it for us. Migdalia will be back next week. We are going to be here live at 7 p.m. On Sundays to do episode 9. Welcome to the Red Room, the Twin Peaks after show. But that's going to do it for us. Thanks for watching.
Well, also, I guess, because we're going to still deal with a little bit of Anime Expo. If you guys want to, you can kind of just look out for what may be happening on Instagram Live, because there may be something that's happening tonight on Instagram Live.
What's happening tonight on Instagram Live?
If we're going to go to Anime Expo, we might as well just show people that what's happening there. Might as well.
Yeah, so tomorrow we're also breaking a big story. If you're a fan of DC, the DC movies, or, I mean, Wonder Woman really turned things around. I don't want to. But if you're a fan of DC movies, check us out tomorrow. We're releasing a big story as a treat to all you guys. But that's going to do it for us right now. You can, Daniel, where can we find you? You
can find me on social media as Battlestar Galactica, except for Twitter, which is still the real J_Rome.
Why'd you change it?
Well, I just thought it was great. I like that name, and it was always one of mine.
The next show we can see you on?
Well, now Doctor Who is over, so I guess the next show you can see me on is possibly Power Rangers wrap-up.
Are you doing
Metro Ranger wrap-up? Of course I'm doing.
I'm sorry. I meant to say, are you doing the after dark or whatever?
Next week, I don't know if I'm going to do the after dark.
I know Brianna's on.
Yeah.
But that's for me. I keep saying that.
Yeah.
Like for me, you can watch me tomorrow. Actually, both of us tomorrow on the news feed. Remember we did that? Mm-hmm. We did the news feed. Also, you can watch Morphin Monday. Daryl's on that. But that's going to do it for us right here, right now at that hashtag show. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. David Chapman, Kat, Ryan. Also, I gotta shout out my guy here, Art. Thank you guys so much for contributing to the chat. And hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending
in geek pop culture.
Boom, 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 boom. Hello, I'm Migdalia.